A very warm welcome to everyone. I hope you enjoyed yesterday's lecture, and from your views I am seeing that you are enjoying the lecture. We are going to cover almost 1000 question in next 20 days. I know it won't take more of your time, but I just request everyone if you just please go through this question, because at least if you get 10% repetition, you will get 10 to 15 questions data from my lectures. And most importantly, what I want to say is that I will be discussing factual data. So keep watching the lecture and also keep sharing the lectures with your friend. As discussed earlier, you have to pause the video, you have to read the question, you have to solve the question. I am not going to pause the video, I am directly going to solve the question. So in this you have to take your own time and then you listen to my analysis, right? So first question: in the areas covered under Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Act of 1996, what is the role or power of Gram Sabha? First question: Gram Sabha has the power to prevent alienation of land in the scheduled area. This is very true. In scheduled area, you cannot purchase a tribal land without permission of the Gram Sabha. So first statement is true. If first one is true, in that case, what is asked? Which of the statement given above are correct? That is, you are expected to choose the correct statement. So first statement is correct. In that way, A, B and D options are correct. C option will go automatically. Second, Gram Sabha has the ownership of minor forest produce. It is also correct thing. So second option is correct. So basically, for this particular thing, I will recommend every UPSC aspirant to go on internet and check a particular case study relating to a village in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra. The name of the village is Lekha Menda, right? If any one of you have gone for this thing, in this case, remember, Gram Sabha has the ownership of minor forest produce. For this, one very important case study, Lekha Menda village in Gadchiroli district of Maharashtra. Just go for it. When second statement is correct, automatically first option is gone. So ultimately what remains? Third option remains. Recommendation of Gram Sabha is required for granting prospecting license or mining lease for any mineral in the scheduled area. Now this is somewhat a kind of blunder. Why? Because these things are not given in the hands of Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha can be manipulated by big, large corporate houses very easily. Gram Sabha has very smaller population and they have basically a very small power and authority. So third statement is correct. If third statement is correct, ultimately correct option is B. See, these kinds of things are not available anywhere in the book. For these kinds of questions, you have to use your logic. And again, one important line about this PESA Act. Also, you have to search on internet about second act, that is PESA 2. Go for this second version of PESA Act, Panchayat Extension to Scheduled Areas Part 2. What is the main objective of PESA Act? It is in simple manner, it is just an extension of the provisions of Part 9 of the Constitution to scheduled areas. And for that, you have to remember one important thing: the provision regarding scheduled areas are given in 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution. Remember, provisions relating to scheduled areas are given in 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution. These lectures are a kind of revision where I will be discussing every point one and again, time and again, so that you will have the revision. From henceforth, I won't be repeating this statement, we will be focusing only on the questions, right? Now coming to second question. See what second question says. In the Parliament of India, the purpose of adjournment motion. Now before moving forward, I just want to give you clarity about one thing. Whenever a question on adjournment motion or calling attention motion is being asked, you have to remember the question is always asked in pair of these two motions. So here remember, always adjournment motion is always asked against the House. So most important purpose of adjournment motion to attract attention of the House towards an urgent matter of public importance, whereas calling attention motion is being used against the minister or group of minister. Keep this thing in mind. Adjournment motion is always used to draw attention of the house, either most important, it is not used in Rajya Sabha, it is always used in Lok Sabha, and calling attention motion is used to draw attention of the house, so attention of the minister or a group of minister. Now coming to the question, you have to choose correct statement about the adjournment motion. To allow discussion of a definite matter of urgent public importance, to let opposition members collect information from the minister. Now here opposition members can collect information from ministers under which motion? Under calling attention motion, or any other things are there. To allow reduction of a specific amount in demand for a grant. This is a provision related to the economic cut motion. Remember, three types of cut motions are there. In that case, this third option is about economic cut motion. The three cut motions are, one is economic cut motion, second is policy cut motion, and third one is token cut motion. In economic cut motion, the amount given to a particular grant is reduced by lump sum amount. In policy cut motion, the amount given to a particular grant is reduced to rupee 1. It is reduced to rupee 1. And in token cut motion, the amount is reduced by 100 rupees. Reduced by 100 rupees. Just listen the difference. In policy cut motion, the entire amount is reduced to rupees 1. And in token cut motion, the amount is reduced by 100 rupees. So this option is wrong. This is wrong. To postpone the proceedings to check the inappropriate or violent behavior on the part of the some member. So it is not adjournment motion. If we can call it as adjournment of the house. It is not adjournment motion. It is adjournment of the house. So the correct answer is to allow discussion on a definite matter of urgent public importance. Clear? This is second question. Then coming to third question. Very interesting. The National Green Tribunal Act 2010 was enacted in consonance with which of the following provisions of the Constitution of India? First, right to healthy environment construed as a part of right to life under Article 21. Second, provisions of grant for raising the level of administration in scheduled areas for the welfare of the scheduled tribe under Article 275(1). Powers and functions of Gram Sabha as mentioned under Article 243 capital A. So which is the correct answer? Here let's try to go for elimination method. See, Gram Sabha has nothing to do with National Green Tribunal. Why? Because National Green Tribunal is not related with just only rural area. National Green Tribunal Act is related with urban area as well as rural area. So third option is wrong. If third option is wrong, B is gone, C is gone, D is gone. Answer remains 1. See, you have to use logic, you have to search blunders. Why? Because National Green Tribunal Act is not related with just only rural area. It is related with urban area, rural area, scheduled area, tribal area. It is related with all areas of the entire India. So third option is gone. Now here one thing for your prelims examination, Gram Sabha has a constitutional status under Article 243 capital A. I repeat once again, Gram Sabha has a constitutional status under Article 243K. Right? Then what says second provision? Provisions of grants for raising level of administration in scheduled area for welfare of scheduled tribe. It is about which kind of grant? It talks about statutory grant. And to remember here, to explain you here, statutory grants are of two types. One is general grant and second is specific grant. Now here general grant are given to the states which are in financial distress, which are in need of financial assistance, and specific grants is given to states for carrying out certain welfare scheme for welfare of scheduled tribes under Article 275(1). So it is about specific grant, the second provision. So it is not part of NGT. So correct answer is first provision is correct. That is National Green Tribunal, it is there to provide healthy environment under Article 21, which talks about right to life and personal liberty. Two important things. Article 21 is the most liberally interpreted article of the Indian Constitution. Second, Article 21 is basically about what? It is basically about the larger canvas of life of a person. Then fourth question. Consider the following statements, provisions under the directive principles of state policy as enshrined in the Constitution of India. which of the above are the Gandhian principles that are reflected in the directive principles of state policy? So here we are expected to search Gandhian principles out of these four. First, securing for citizens of India uniform civil code. So basically remember, uniform civil code is given in article 44 of the Indian Constitution. First thing, and most important, this particular uniform civil code is a liberal intellectual principle, right? Everyone know this, it is the liberal intellectual principle and it is a logic. So first is not Gandhian principle. If first is not Gandhian principle, option A is gone, option C is gone, option D is gone, and correct option is 2 and 3 only. See, since we are discussing last few days, you can realize that many of the questions can be solved without going in every option. You can solve question just by going through the option. So this is very easy examination. The only thing is that you have to apply the logic while solving the question. Clear this thing? So this is a simple aspect. And what is the correct thing? Organizing village panchayat is a Gandhian principle. Promoting cottage industries in rural areas is also a Gandhian principle, right? So keep this thing, 2 and 3 is the correct answer. Fourth one is also a socialistic principle. It is not Gandhian principle. Just to give you a brief idea about which all are the Gandhian principles, I will just list out all important articles. Just listen them very carefully. Article 40, that is about organizing village panchayat. Then article 43, it talks about state will try to promote cottage industry. Then article 46, it state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest at the weaker sections of the people, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Then article 45, it talks about state shall provide compulsory primary education for the children up to 14 years of age. Then article 47, state will try to secure the improvement of public health and prohibition of intoxicating drinks and drugs. Then article 48, state shall preserve and improve the breeds and prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves and other cows and drought cattle. Clear? This is very simple thing. Then next question, question number 5. Consider the following statements. Union territories are not represented in the Rajya Sabha. First we will go for what is asked. In this question, which of the statement given above are correct? They have asked correct question. Now first option, Union territories are not represented in the Rajya Sabha. So first statement is blunder. It is wrong. If first statement, why it is wrong? Because Delhi has how many seats in Rajya Sabha? Delhi has 3 seats. Then Puducherry has how many seats? Puducherry has 1 seat. And recently constituted union territory, which is Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir has total 4 seats. In this way, Delhi, Puducherry and Jammu Kashmir in total union territories right now have 8 seats in the Rajya Sabha. So first statement is wrong. If first statement is wrong, A option is gone, C option is gone. Then it is within the purview of Chief Election Commissioner to adjudicate the election dispute. See, one very important thing. I just want to give you a small history about these things. What was given, just we'll move for some next slide. 2 things were there. One is article 392 and second is about section 80 of the Representation of People's Act. What these 2 things said? These 2 things said that whenever a question arises about election dispute and who should solve the dispute, no electoral dispute can be resolved without election petition, right? It means if you want to resolve any election dispute, for resolving this election dispute, it is very essential you should have election petition. It means election commission had a very important role in resolving election dispute. So going by this trend, up to the year 1966, all election dispute used to be solved by an election tribunal, and this election tribunal was established by Election Commission of India. But from 1966 onward, the election disputes were taken away from election tribunal and they were handed over to High Court of India. So remember here one important point, Election Commission do not adjudicate on electoral matter from 1966 onward. So second option is wrong. If second option is wrong, then B option is gone. So what is ultimately which are correct? None of the above is correct is the option. Now let's go for third statement. According to the Constitution of India, the parliament consists of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. It's okay, these two are parts of the parliament, but which word they have used? They have used a word only. Remember, whenever the word only or solo or these kinds of words come, remember some messy thing is there. These statements could be wrong statement. That's why this third statement is straight away is a wrong statement. So this is gone. Ultimately, what is correct option? Yes, parliament is composed of Lok Sabha plus Rajya Sabha plus President of India. Remember, President of India is an integral part of the Parliament of India. The next question, with reference to consumers' rights or privileges under the provisions of law in India, which of the following statement is are correct? Consumers are empowered to take samples for food testing. It is correct. From August 2011, consumers can take samples for testing. If first statement is correct, then what is asked in the question? Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Here we are expected to select the correct statement out of the above statement. First statement is correct, so B option is gone. When a consumer files a complaint in any consumer forum, no fees is required to be paid. Now see, even for getting right to information Xerox, you have to pay that amount. And one simple logic is there, if we remove fees section, then everyone will take the food that he do not like to those laboratories to complain against the person. So provision of fees is always there, though the fees is not very higher, it is very nominal fees, but the provision for fees is there. So this statement, second statement is wrong. If it is wrong, then option number D is gone. In case of death of a consumer, her legal heir can file a complaint in the consumer forum on his or her behalf. Now see, here also logic. If that particular person died on account of consuming that particular food item, then who shall take the complaint? Obviously, his or her legal heir can take that complaint to respective authorities to get his grievance redressed. So that's why third option is correct. So ultimately correct answer is C, 1 and 3. You have to go by logic. You are not expected to read everything. Even everything is not given in the books. Seventh question, regarding the office of the Lok Sabha Speaker, consider the following statements. She holds the office during the pleasure of the President. Now, see, one important article is there, which is Article 311, though it is not linked over here, it is important. It is applicable to most of the offices in the Constitution of India. Article 311 says, no person shall be removed by an authority which is subordinate to appointing authority. So this is the case. It means to remove a person from his position, it is necessary that person must be removed by the authority who appointed them. Here, Speaker of Lok Sabha is elected by members of Lok Sabha. I repeat the line once again. Here, Speaker of Lok Sabha is elected by members of Lok Sabha. So it means President do not have right to remove Speaker of the Lok Sabha from his position. So first statement is wrong. Then which of the statement given above is are correct? So if first is wrong, A option is gone, C option is gone. Then she need not be a member of the house at the time of her elections, but has to become a member of the house within 6 months from the date of her election. See, only a member of Lok Sabha can become Speaker of the House. This second statement is related with the provision is related with the minister. Any person can be appointed as a minister, but he must get elected to the House within 6 months. So this is the provision. Any person can be elected as a minister, but the only thing, he must get elected to the House within 6 months. So this second option is a wrong option. Then if he or she intends to resign, the letter of his or her resignation has to be addressed to the Deputy Speaker. Third statement is correct. So if it is correct, second statement was wrong. Correct option is 3. B option is the correct. Here about resignation, just a simple matter. Speaker gives his resignation to Deputy Speaker and Deputy Speaker gives his or her resignation to Speaker. First point, clear? Second, then it is about Chairman of Rajya Sabha, right? Chairman of Rajya Sabha gives his resignation to President of India. Why? Because Chairman is Vice President. Whereas Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha gives his resignation to Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. This is second important point. Keep this in mind. Here also remember, President gives his resignation to Vice President of India. President gives his resignation to Vice President of India. Vice President of India, who is acting as a chairman of Rajya Sabha, gives his resignation to President of India, whereas Deputy Chairman of Rajya Sabha gives his resignation to Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Clear? This is simple point. Then question number 8. Which of the following are included in the original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court? Various kinds of jurisdictions of Supreme Courts are given. First, try to understand what is the definition of jurisdiction of Supreme Court. So first thing, one thing I want to mention, or what is the definition of Supreme Court. So here remember, whenever the word Supreme Court comes, remember Supreme Court is primarily a court of appeal. What is said? Supreme Court is primarily a court of appeal. Clear? It means if 100 cases are coming to Supreme Court, more than 90 plus cases are coming to Supreme Court through the matter of appeal. From lower court, subordinate court, district court, high court, and finally the case comes to the Supreme Court. So here what is expected of you? You have to remember this definition. All the cases or most of the cases comes to the Supreme Court as a appellate matter. Clear? Now here what we are expected to remember over here is that what is meaning of original jurisdiction. So those cases which comes to Supreme Court directly without any appeal are called as original jurisdiction. Those cases which comes to Supreme Court as a original jurisdiction is a part of which comes to Supreme Court directly without any appeal are called as original jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Now we'll go for the question, what it says. See, a dispute between Government of India or any one or more states. So first option is correct. The first is correct, option B is gone. Then a dispute regarding election to either House of Parliament or that or legislature of a state. So this dispute goes to President of India through Election Commission, and if it is not solved, then it can be it will goes to the High Court of that particular state. So second statement is wrong. If second is wrong, then it is gone. Before that, here just look at over here. This D option is also gone. So ultimately, what is the correct answer? It is 1 and 4 is the correct answer. A dispute between two or more than two states. So third statement is also wrong. Clear? So which of the following are included in the original jurisdiction of Supreme Court? This first statement and fourth statement. You have to go by the method of elimination. Then comes question number 9. Which of the following special powers have been conferred on the Rajya Sabha by the Constitution of India? Very interesting. To change the existing territory of a state and to change the name of a state. See, it is not the power. Changing name, area and boundary of a state is given in Article 3 of the Indian Constitution. First point. Second, to put this bill regarding changing name, area and boundary of a state, it must have to fulfill two important conditions. Those conditions are, this bill must have previous recommendation of President of India, and second thing, this particular bill, it will be sent to concerned state legislature by President of India. It will be given to State Legislative Assembly by President of India, and President of India will ask that state legislature to express their views within specified time period. This time period will also be determined by President of India. And third important thing is that whatever advice given by or whatever views expressed by State Legislative Assembly are not binding on the President of India, nor they are binding on the Parliament of India. Clear? So this is not the correct, this is not the power of Rajya Sabha. Second, Rajya Sabha passed a resolution empowering the Parliament to make a laws in the state list and to create one or more All India services. So this is the power given to Rajya Sabha. Clear? So these two power, making a laws in the state list and creating one or more All India services. So making a laws in the state list, it comes under Article 249 of the Indian Constitution. Creating one or more All India services comes under Article 312. Remember these two articles, very very important for your prelims examination. I repeat once again, making laws on state list by Parliament comes under Article 249, and creating one or more All India services comes under Article 312 of the Indian Constitution. To amend the election procedure of the President and to determine the pension of President after his or her retirement, it is not given over here. To determine the functions of Election Commission and to determine the number of Election Commissioner, it is right of the Parliament, and functions of Election Commission is given in the Constitution of India. It is Article 324 which talks about Constitution of Election Commission of India. So this is the basic. Correct answer is Article 249 and Article 312. Then last question. Which of the following are the methods of parliamentary control over public finance in India? Very simple. Placing annual financial statement before the parliament. So first is correct. Then if first is correct, C option is gone. Withdrawal of money from Consolidated Fund of India only after passing appropriation bill. Second statement is also correct. But second is already given here, here and here. So there is no issue. Provision of supplementary grant and vote on account. It is part of budget. So it is also correct. So third is correct. Third is given over here. So option B is gone. A periodic or at least a mid-year review program of the government against a microeconomic forecast and expenditure by Parliamentary Budget Office. No, Parliament does not have any kind of such budget office which will go for review. Fourth statement is gone. If it is gone, this D option is gone. Correct option is 1, 2, 3 and 5. Clear? 1, 2, 3 and 5. Just a factual information for you. Annual financial statement, about annual financial statement, it is given in Article 112 of the Indian Constitution. Second important bit, annual financial statement or budget is a kind of money bill, and for money bill provision is given in Article 1110. And most important bit, whether a bill is money bill or not shall be decided by Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Appropriation bill legalizes expenditure side of the government. Appropriation bill comes under Article 114 of the Indian Constitution. And finance bill, it legalizes income side of the government or budget. Appropriation bill, it legalizes expenditure side, and finance bill, it legalizes income side. Clear? So finance bill comes under Article 117 of the Indian Constitution. Clear? Correct answer is 1, 2, 3 and 5 only. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you.